once you start driving the car, you realize you forget everything else, right? The driving pleasure is just insane. It holds its own even against a Tesla. And I was blown over by that fact that इतनी बड़ी कार में turning radius इन्होंने अच्छा कैसे बना दिया.
How much did you end up finally paying for this? Did you get any early bird offer?
It cost us about
What are the features?
79 kilowatt hour battery pack. Do a full charge. I can easily go 15 to 20 days without needing to charge it again. The UI UX needs to be a little bit better.
That has been my biggest problem with Mahindra, right? Like I'll share my experience also in general.
Always take the topmost insurance plan. Don't buy the insurance from the OEM.
How did you finance this car?
I used financing.
Go to a PNB or an SBI. You will be shocked at the rates. So to give you a reference, I bought my car.
This channel is brought to you by the 01 Media Network by Zerodha. With their support, I'll be helping you spend your money wisely.
Okay, today I am in a very big car. This car, firstly, Vivek is here. Thank you, Vivek, for letting me drive your beloved new XCV9E. Okay, anyway, today I'm going to be discussing the XCV9E with Vivek here. Going into this conversation, I want to give the heads up that I'm a little cynical about this car. I have always been ever since it came out. This and its sibling, the 6C. But Vivek is a friend who has recently bought this car and he is extremely excited about it. He's been driving it for how many months now?
2 months?
2 months.
2.5 months?
2.5 months, and he's been on a journey of he's been in the market for a car for a while. So we'll hear from him on how his experience has been on the XCV9E. I am excited to drive it and experience it for myself, and let's see if by the end of this, Vivek, you can convert me from being a cynic to being appreciate. If I can appreciate this car by the end of it.
That's my goal of the day. if I do that, that's more important than the interview.
That's why he's letting me drive this. I'm very scared to drive it. It's really big. Yeah. But let's jump in. Why the XCV9E? Why the EV? What was the use case when you were thinking of buying this? How did you arrive at this?
So why XCV9E? It's an interesting question. To be honest, I was not really pinpointing that this is the car that I really want. As you said, we were in the market for a car.
And you were in the market for a while.
For a while. Yes.
How long? A year?
Roughly about a year or so, but it was a passive hunt. It was not very active, So the use case basically was that both me and my wife, we needed cars to go to work. And we used to have a Skoda earlier on, which we disposed of because of the whole 10-year diesel car rule.
Which one was it?
This was a Skoda Rapid.
Nice.
As you said, we were in the market for about a year. I think you and I had
that's why I know you were in the market for a long time.
We considered all kinds of cars.
What was your ballpark budget when you were in this hunt? Well, I'm sure your budget also fluctuated a lot.
It did. Because to be honest, we were also exploring the Germans at one point. But Germans, what we realized is that, if you look at the entry-level Germans, it's just the badging. Right? There are no features. There is no performance. It's just the badge and you pay, 55-60 lakhs for the badge.
100%. In fact, I'm of the opinion that instead of buying an entry-level German, you're better off buying a high-end...
A Skoda Superb or something like that.
Or a, Tiguan.
Exactly.
You're better off buying those than buying those entry-level Germans. But I will offend a lot of people, so I will not say more.
Yeah, no, 100%. Same camp as yours, right? So then I realized that, if you really want a German which also gives you performance and features, you'll have to spend probably upwards of 1 crore. And then I think the point was, is the ROI justified? Do you really spend that kind of money on a car, especially given our Indian conditions where you will never extract the best? So this, it was a very passive thing. Once a month we would go out, explore a couple of cars here and there because we were in no rush.
Watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Exactly. That's my passion. I'll tell you a fun fact. On my family room television, the number one search on YouTube is not Peppa Pig. It is not Mr. Beast. It is XCV9E. So essentially what happened is, through the course of all of this, suddenly, Mahindra came up with this announcement that we are coming up with these BEVs, B6 and XCV9E. And, obviously first look was very attractive. And I was like, okay, let's explore this one a little bit more. Till that time, I had never even thought of kind of purchasing an EV. If this were our first car, we would not have purchased an EV.
How many other cars do you have in the house? Because it's not your primary car, or is it your primary car?
This is now, so between me and my wife, we keep shuffling. Sometimes she uses this one, sometimes I use this one. And then we have an MG Hector.
Okay.
So, between the two of us, we keep oscillating between them.
And do you have highway runs also, or do you pretty much use these in the city?
So, primary use case is city, going to workplace, going to friends and family places, all of which are in Delhi NCR. Occasionally on weekends, kind of doing some trips, let's say to Jaipur, Agra, these kinds of things. And then once in a while, let's say once in 3-4 months, kind of doing a slightly longer trip. Like for example, this weekend, we'd all gone to Jim Corbett for a family function, for a family celebration.
So, in those longer trips, you take the Hector, I'm assuming, or do you take this?
That's the interesting interesting piece. So I'll just flash forward to kind of answer your question. This requires a little bit extra planning, right? What I have realized is that driving an EV is not exactly the same as driving an ICE, because in an ICE engine, you really know, I mean, like you can take the car to a Manali, to a Lahore Spiti, wherever you will find petrol stations.
Yeah.
With this one, even if you are going to a Jim Corbett, you have to plan in advance. You know, वहाँ पे charging stations होंगे या नहीं होंगे, कितने होंगे. जिस area में हम रुके थे, उसका नाम है Dikuli. You know, it has a bunch of resort, but we had to plan because it's 350 kilometers away, real world range of 500 kilometers. So which means I will have to charge the car once I am over there. Otherwise, you know, the return leg would not be possible. अब उसपे issues क्या होते हैं that आप वहाँ पे जाओगे, you know, first you have to find where that charging station is. You get to the charging station. Now, like for example, in this case, I got a charging station which had two connectors. One is a 30 kilowatt, the other one is a 7 kilowatt. Thankfully, when I went there early in the morning, it was all empty. I was like, okay, great. So 30 kilowatt water charger पे मैंने connect किया, and I was like, okay, it will take roughly about 2 hours for a full charge. Let me go back to my resort and then come back after 2 hours. 2 hours हो गया, came back and took it away. But what I realized, let's say अगर किसी को अपनी कार 2 hours के बाद नहीं चाहिए, वो क्या करेगा कि वो अपनी कार चार्जिंग पे लगा देगा वहाँ पे. The person will go back to their resort. Everything is to be done through the app, right? Like so once you figured out the whole razzmatazz of the app, you kind of charge your car. Once the charging is done, you stop charging. But you don't really need to come back and take the connector out if you don't need the car immediately. So उससे होता क्या है that point is still occupied.
It's occupied, yeah. People, I'm sure in India people don't have that civic sense or like the responsibility of like, hey, somebody else might.
Exactly. Yeah. So you basically, you know, in a place where there are very limited charging stations, if you go there and you realize that, you know, the charging point is already occupied, and there is no ET on when it will get free. So you will naturally go to the second one. God forbid if the second one is not working, what do you do, right? Like, so you kind of get stuck in this rigmarole a little.
So the range anxiety, would you say you suffer from range anxiety or have you experienced range anxiety in this so far?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So I am usually one of those people who will go on battery saver mode on their phone at 50%.
That's a good benchmark. Whether you should buy an EV or not, you should ask yourself that when do you start getting nervous about your phone battery?
Yeah.
If you are like me, I go until like 10% charge है तो अरे बहुत है अभी तो चलेगा.
Yeah, that's exactly my wife, right? So you know 10% no problem.
No problem. बहुत चलेगा. You are the other one. So you definitely have range anxiety. Okay, coming back. What are the features?
Yeah. So this is the top end model of the XEV90. So 79 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's called Pack 3.
Huge battery. Huh?
It's a huge battery. The company claims a range of about 650, 660 odd kilometers. But you know, like we've driven I think more than 2000 kilometers now. Approximately what we are getting is somewhere around 500 kilometers real world range.
Okay, with the AC and with everything.
With AC working throughout, you know, like all the vents working, with the music system, Android Auto, everything sort of, you know, working. If you shut some of those things off, then you probably increase the range by another 30, 40, 50 kilometers.
Yeah.
Which means that, you know, in a 500 kilometer radius, it's quite easy to travel, provided that you are able to get charging points, you know, at your destination.
How much time does it take to charge this typically?
Now that depends on the charger. So for example, if you are on a 30 kilowatt hour charger, it will take you roughly a little bit more than an hour to charge 30 kilowatts. So which means for a full charge 0 to 80, it will take about 2.5 to 3 hours to take some buffer. But if you're on a super slow charger, right, like you know, a typical AC charger for example, it could take as much as like 20 to 25 hours to get the full charge done.
What do you usually have? Like at your home, what do you have?
What we do have in our apartment complex is essentially those fast chargers. So there's a 30 kilowatt and there's a 11 kilowatt. So I typically use the 30 kilowatt charger in my apartment complex, and then there are some provisions at my workplace as well. So occasionally I use a slow charger over there as well. It depends on, you know,
how often do you end up charging this? Once a week?
No, I would say if I'm using the fast charger and I do a full charge, I can easily go 15 to 20 days without needing to charge it again.
Nice. Tell us more. When this car came out, you went and checked it out. Did you test drive it? How much was the waiting? What made you fall in love with it? When did you decide that this is it?
So, you know, a fun story, we are little bits of risk takers, right? Like, so when we purchased the MG Hector, it was a very similar process. You know, like the car kind of, you know, got launched. It was not in showrooms anywhere, but we liked the look so much, and, you know, it was very revolutionary at that time, ahead of its time. Just by looking at those YouTube videos, we actually went ahead and booked the car, and we don't regret the decision. I think the only problem was that obviously the range, or you know, like the fuel efficiency is much lower in MG Hector as compared to other cars. Same story repeats again. You know, like the company launched the car, really liked it. In my family, you know, we typically have a trend that all of us go once. Everyone looked at the car, everyone was bowled over. So we were like, okay, you know.
And you were considering this between this and the 60. How did you decide on this?
It was quite straightforward. So you know, space, the leg room or the headroom in the back seat, is much more in this one. Second, the boot space is much bigger. Like it's I think a 650 liter boot.
It's a huge car. I am
massive.
driving it right now and I'm like, this car is big.
Yeah, but you know what you will realize is that the turning radius is still very efficient. You know, if you are kind of turning around here,
Yeah.
like typically in big cars, you'll have to do it twice. Here you can just do it in one.
So, try karte.
हाँ, try करो like, and I was blown over by that fact. कि
Okay.
यार, इतनी बड़ी कार में turning radius इन्होंने अच्छा कैसे बना दिया?
How much was the waiting?
He told me कि 3 महीने लगेंगे. So we booked it on our anniversary, 25th Feb. But we actually got it in 2 months. So we bought it from Concept Mahindra, 48 में. Really nice showroom. The guy was really nice. But the problem is now those guys are so busy because literally they are getting insane traffic every day. Everyone wants to explore both of these cars. In addition to the other Super 8 cars that they have in their portfolio.
I had two questions actually. First question is that because you were like an early adopter of this car, you pretty much bought it when this car was still in its early days.
Correct.
What are the issues that you faced in the car so far?
Yeah. One is the broader EV issue, right? Because this was my first EV, the issue that I was talking to you
Yeah.
about. So when you are going somewhere, you have to plan. You can't just, ad hoc sit in the car and
Yeah.
do. So that I think is a broader EV issue.
Yeah.
Specific to this car, I think while this is amazing,
Yeah.
like, these 3 screens are just mind blowing. I have not seen this in any car
Yeah.
before. But that also means that there is a bunch of complications. One simple example. Typically, if you want to kind of, use the radio, it should be a one button simple process, right?
That's how it's in the Skoda.
Yeah. In most cars,
Yeah.
it's like that. They would make it pretty seamless because FM is the first port of call usually for most
Yeah.
people. In this car, I realized यहाँ पे कोई app ही नहीं है जिससे आप FM on कर सकते. So I was like, यार कैसे करूँ? I went to Google search and then I tried all of these AI platforms as well to figure out कि भाई कैसे होता है इसमें. But obviously because the car is so new, there is no data anywhere.
Yeah.
Thankfully, on WhatsApp there are a bunch of groups of EV owners and there are specific groups for XEV owners as well where people are sharing their insights and stuff. तो मैंने वहाँ पे वो query डाला कि भाई यहाँ पे FM कैसे चलता है? And I caveated by saying कि भाई मतलब it's a noob question but मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा. तो they said यार मतलब थोड़ा सा ना इसमें quirk है. इसमें सिर्फ ये जो मोड का बटन है ना यहाँ से ये प्रेस करने से FM चलता है. So you have to press mode and then the FM menu comes up and then you press FM and then you kind of
Also, there's
listen to
nothing
it.
here. It's just
There is nothing here as far as people could tell. मतलब मैंने भी इतना डिटेल में एक्सप्लोर नहीं किया. So that is one issue. अब आपको एयर कंडीशनिंग कंट्रोल करना है, right? So and if you are on your Android Auto, for example, first you have to press this button, which is basically the blower button. Then this menu comes up. Then you press this. A full screen comes up.
Then you change.
And now you have the settings for various kinds of, aircon. So seat ventilation, back seat, front seat,
So you
left,
basically
right, all
need
that
somebody on the side to be doing all of this for you full time.
yeah.
Otherwise,
Or you are a super expert and you can navigate all of this on your own. So I would say that is a little bit of a quirk. Like there is so much tech that they've put in, but I think the UI UX needs to be a little bit better.
Yeah, some forum I had read this on that there was somebody who bought the 90 and this front UI for them in the car came out of 60. And so they were like that the screens are not full bleed and like there are a lot of issues because this was 60. And then finally the guys called him and they said we'll upgrade it and then they basically connected it and updated it.
Yeah.
Have you faced any such issues where you had to go and get some software updates done?
Yes, I've gone once. So when the first service happened, so the car is supposed to come with wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. So Android Auto was there, when the car came in, but Apple CarPlay they said it will come after the first update. So when it went for the first service, they did a software update and Apple CarPlay was installed as well. The problem is now my wife has an iPhone and I have an Android Auto. Usually it becomes confused when both of us are sitting in the car. कि भाई मैं Android Auto on करूँ या Apple CarPlay on करूँ. तो बीच में तो ऐसा हो गया था कि it was not doing anything at all. So I had to literally forget both the devices on this
And then
kind
connect
of,
only one.
And then connect only one and then उसके बाद it's become a little bit more seamless.
That has been my biggest problem with Mahindra, right? Like I'll share my experience also in general is that look, they're a great company. They understand the pulse of the user so well.
Yeah.
For example, you've been in the market for a year and then you saw this car and you jumped on it, right? And you've
Exactly.
gone from across budgets. So they get the user.
Yeah.
My only worry with them is that they try to pack in so much to really appeal to that value conscious consumer that in the process that somewhere nothing is free, right?
Yeah.
There are compromises that have been made here and there because of which they still need to sort of iron out those issues. Even with the XUV 700 now, I feel like they've gotten to a place where that car is flawless. Now it's working perfectly. But even when the XUV 500 launched back in 2017-18, I had colleagues in my previous company who had faced so many issues with that car. Very, very brave of you to be taking this car when day one, like first day, first show types, right? That I'm gonna go into this knowing the risk that I'm going.
And that too, like the macro environment itself, right? Like an EV with no infrastructure really built in India.
And buying a Mahindra's new first car on the new platform.
Yeah.
Very brave of you.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, but touchwood, I would say the decision has been good so far. Yes, I mean, like these are some quirks, but you kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
I think once you start driving the car, right,
Yeah.
you realize you forget everything else, right? The driving pleasure is just
yeah.
insane. Like the thrust you get, like you press the brake, there is no lag whatsoever. It'll run, and I don't even use the sports mode at all because I'm scared of using it.
What are the specifications in terms of like 0 to 100 and like how much torque, what?
I think
horsepower?
6.8 seconds is 0 to 100.
Wow, that's pretty fast for a car this big.
380 is the torque and 282 is the bhp, so no issues whatsoever over there. I think, like, just a brilliant car when it comes to performance. And I had watched a bunch of YouTube videos as well, right, where they were doing, Mahindra I think has testing tracks in Chennai or somewhere, where they were kind of really accelerating the car at 200 plus kind of speeds, right, which are kind of unheard of. You don't typically drive in India at those speeds, but even then the car held its own. It never felt like it would just fly off the shelf.
It is a pretty sturdy,
very
heavy
sturdy
car. So that I agree. I think at high speeds this will be quite a good car to drive.
Exactly.
How much did you end up finally paying for this? Did you get any early bird offer or like anything?
It cost us about 34.5-ish, like close to 35 lakhs on road. We got zero discount, like literally zero, because the guy was very clear, sir, नई गाड़ी है, बहुत ज़्यादा demand में है. There is no way we can provide discounts, right? Like, especially because, typically these kinds of features don't even come in a 35 lakh car, right? Like, they're like 70 lakh above. But I think the only hack I would recommend, not really a hack is don't buy the insurance from the OEM. Essentially buy the insurance from a third party. So in our case, we have a regular insurance guy who gives us good deals typically. So we rely on him. But if not him, then like use a third party app, Policy Bazaar or something, to get really good discounts on insurance.
How much did you broadly save on insurance?
A lot. So the company quoted 1,30,000 something.
Yeah.
And we got it for like 67,000-68,000. That was.
Wow.
And when I told my RM, relationship manager in the Mahindra showroom that, I'm getting a quote for this much, then the guy suddenly said कि सर मैं match कर दूंगा. So I was like, यार ये आपको मेरे को पहले बताते ना, मतलब like someone is making an effort to give me this quote, then I'll go with him.
And they always do this, right? They'll say stuff like, अरे ये allowed नहीं है, ये approved नहीं है, हम गाड़ी की delivery नहीं दे सकते. All of those things are complete bogus. Like
all of them are complete bogus.
They are not to approve or they are no one to tell you where to buy it from. As long as you are insured, you're fine. No traffic cop is going to
Exactly. They try to kind of use all of these statements, but like if you are firm and if you know your game, so they also know कि यार मतलब we are just kind of trying this stuff for the sake of it.
Yeah. So Vivek, how did you finance this car?
I used financing, and I wanted to go for the maximum possible loan. The ex-showroom price was I think like 31 point something.
That's what smart people do. I get a lot of hate when I say like just finance the whole thing, but people don't get it. But please go on.
Yeah, exactly. So like 31 point something was the ex-showroom price, and I went to ICICI Bank. So I said I want to finance this fully. So they gave me a 30 lakh loan, and they gave me a good interest rate as well. I think we got like 8.9%.
Yeah.
And the prevailing rate then usually was around 9.25, 9.2%. And the logic was fairly straightforward, right? Like I think you were alluding to the same thing. If I can make 9% or more in some other asset classes, then I would be silly to kind of, pay 30 lakhs upfront.
And the other caveat is that the EMI amount that is coming is not like a huge financial burden on your monthly cash flow.
Exactly.
As long as those two things are covered, I think that's how you should go about it.
It was like, I think like the monthly cash flow is about 48 to 50,000.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I feel like we are able to afford that kind of an EMI, and we are able to make better use of that capital, deploying it in equity markets or somewhere else.
Yeah. Did you also explore public sector banks?
No.
You should. I'll tell you why. ICICI is notorious for giving bad rates. Axis, ICICI, HDFC are really bad. Go to a PNB or an Indian bank or an SBI. You will be shocked at the rates. So to give you a reference, I bought my car last year. It was at 8.8% last year before the repo rate cuts.
Right.
Mine was at a floating rate of interest. It's been an exact year. That rate of interest has come down from 8.8 to 7.8.
Wow.
So my Indian bank, I have no relation with Indian bank. I had an account with them when I was a college student. So I'm zero, like they don't care about me. The reason I'm telling you this is public sector banks are usually giving a lot better rate of interest, and they're a lot more honest in terms of reducing it when the repo rate comes. They don't take that same time as an ICICI would.
So ICICI and HDFC, both of them take a long time to
reduce it. They're milking that situation, right? So you can even get refinance because your car is really new. You could even consider getting it refinanced. The minute you go to them and tell them you want to get refinanced, they'll match your new rate. They'll say, "So what rate are you getting? Okay, we'll match it."
Yeah.
So same thing that the Mahindra dealership did with you on insurance. That's what ICICI will do with you on your interest rate.
That's a very fair tip. I think I should go and check them out.
So you have a good CIBIL. I know you. I'm sure you have a good CIBIL. You will get a loan easily from an Indian bank or an SBI or a PNB because of your CIBIL. The trick is that why do most people don't go to them is because they don't get a loan from them. These public sector banks are extremely picky and choosy in terms of who to give a loan.
Right.
That's your arbitrage. Now let's get to the fun stuff. How do you like what are the things that you like about this car?
One is obviously the driving comfort and the power and the thrust that you get, but also the features, right? In this case, I would say the driving pleasure is even beyond what you see over here.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. Of course, like if you've driven a Tesla, that's a different ball game altogether.
Yeah.
But there are reviews online that say that, it holds its own even against a Tesla.
Yeah.
Which is a huge compliment. Like even if I were to negate that statement by, 30 percentage points,
Still a
that
big
still
statement.
is a massive statement to make. Number two, of course, like all of these features that you get. I'm a cricket fan. Sometimes, I just use Jio Hotstar over here and I'm able to screen the cricket match on this screen. It's a distraction for the driver, but for the pillion rider, it's like really fun. So
The
that's one.
screen is really big. When the car turns on, you're like, what? Like some theater is going on here. Like, what am I? In an Inox or what?
And then, even the sound system is really cool. It allows you to customize different kinds of modes. So, there's a Boston Symphony mode, there is an opera mode.
This is a Harman Kardon.
This is a Harman Kardon. And then there is a Wembley Stadium mode just for, the sound effects.
Different acoustics.
Number two, I would say just, it's very airy. Like, the white interiors, although they tend to get dirty fairly quickly, but it gives you a very spacious feel. It is naturally very spacious, but, you feel even more spacious inside the car. Third, of course, we travel quite often as a family. So, the boot spaces, the frunk is very cool, by the way. You have a 150 liter frunk right in front, which gets a lot of people confused. So the other day, I had given it to some valet guy and in the resort, right? Like when we were traveling. And वो सारा सामान लेकर आया तो एक लगेज रह गया because it was in the front. तो मैंने बोला भैया वो ना आगे तो कहते सर आगे कहाँ पे मैंने तो सब चेक कर लिया मैंने कहा नहीं भैया उसको खोल सर वहाँ पे भी होता है. So that was very cool, right? Because it's a new concept. And then I think like just the looks in general, right? Like it's a new car and the design is really nice.
It's a head turner for sure.
Yeah,
Like
and you feel really nice when a lot of people are kind of turning back and looking at the car and appreciating it.
It is a head turner. It's huge. It's like a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
What they've tried to, I think they've taken some inspiration from Cybertruck
For sure. Although
This
I must
is not-
say, like Cybertruck is ugly. Yeah, I wouldn't want I know the shape is like the coupe is kind of similar, but like the Cybertruck, I mean, like it's like a multiple tin roofs. They should have made it a little bit better. But
Mahindra heard you. Mahindra heard you, and they made a prettier looking Cybertruck.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'll be able to stretch the car's legs because of famous Gurgaon traffic. And it's rain today, so I don't think there is. But tell me something, another on rains, this has been top of mind for me.
Yeah.
Have you taken this car through any waterlogged roads yet?
Not a lot. In fact, just yesterday we were at Golf Course Road for something, and there was, I would say, water which was halfway through the tires, which is okay.
That's
Like
nothing,
it's
yeah.
fine, yeah, but not really through deep
But
waters.
that must have been comfortable. Did you feel any?
No, not. It was
Nothing,
very
right?
comfortable. I didn't feel anything at all.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm very skeptical of taking my car through, knee-deep water.
Yeah.
Simply because I don't know what the effect will be, right? The battery is down below. I'm sure they would have taken enough precautions when they built the car, but then, with Indian roads and Gurgaon drainage, you really just can't
That's
take
my
these
big,
chances.
in general, that's been a worry for me. I've been, because it's been raining quite often and like, I have a sedan, right? Half the time I'm thinking, should I take this out? Will this get flooded if I get stuck somewhere? What happens? And so on. So it's been top of mind for
My
me.
MG Hector, by the way, is in the service center for the last 25 days.
Got flooded
Because
over?
yes, it went through like on this exit, it went through like real deep water.
Yeah.
And here's the best part. So when I, we had to kind of get it towed to the service center. That was another
So
story. in
it
itself.
stopped.
So it was able to go to my parking.
Yeah.
But once I switched off the car,
It never came on.
it never came on again. All the lights came on and everything. So we had to get it towed to the service center. And the guy told me, sir, आपके ना insurance में engine protect नहीं है.
This
And
is the
somehow-
same thing that has happened to my manager's brother also on a MG Hector. The same thing. His engine is also, and his car is also parked there because they are unable. They're basically waiting for the insurance guy to come, and then they'll open the engine and then they'll go through it.
Yeah. So he said कि आपके, and I was under the impression that my insurance covers everything.
Yeah.
So and he said, very nonchalantly कि सर इसमें ना 9 पैनल होते हैं नीचे. हर पैनल 30,000 रुपए का होता है तो अगर इनमें से जितने खराब होंगे दैट इनटू 30,000 आपको पे करना है. मैंने बोला यार मतलब अगर मेरे 9 के 9 पैनल्स खराब होंगे तो 2,70,000 रुपए आप ऐसे ही ले लोगे. कहते हैं हाँ सर क्योंकि आपके इसमें ना इंजन प्रोटेक्ट नहीं. थैंकफुली नन ऑफ द पैनल्स वर डैमेज्ड डिस्पाइट इट वेडिंग थ्रू दैट मच वाटर. बस एक कोई पार्ट खराब था व्हिच वाज कवर्ड एज पार्ट ऑफ द इंश्योरेंस सो दैट गॉट रिप्लेस्ड. In fact, just before we did this, I called the guy and he said, sir, it's almost done. You'll get your car in the next couple of days also. But it's very scary. I asked the insurance guy to take out all of our insurances. So here is a hat tip for everyone, right? Like, and this is my own personal learning. When it comes to insurance, never compromise. Always take the topmost insurance plan. even if you have to pay like 5, 6, 10k extra, because you never know how and when an expense will hit you. And if you're not covered on insurance, then like you are, pardon my French, but screwed. And this is just car insurance, right? Like God forbid if your health insurance doesn't cover a small thing, and unfortunately you have to go through that expense, it's a lot.
When you checked told your insurance guy to check all your other car insurances, like, is this a particular clause that is called? I'm thinking for my own car, right?
Yeah.
And how do I make sure that my car is covered, or is this it's just that by the top end model of the insurance or whatever that is, and you're covered?
Yeah, more than that, I think, like, there are 5, 6 things that you typically need to make sure that they're covered. Engine protect, for example, which like usually the insurance guys will, in order for you to get convinced, they will say कि सर इसकी जरूरत नहीं है आपको, because इसमें 4-5 हजार रुपए आपके फालतू लगेंगे, but ये 10,000 में से एक केस में होता है. You will also be, यार, I'm a safe driver typically, I'll not get into these instances. अगर हुआ तो तब देखेंगे. So you will probably avoid that. Then consumables, tires, right? Like कितनी बार ऐसे होता है कि आपका टायर कट जाएगा, और टायर itself could sometimes cost you like 12,000-15,000 rupees. And आपको पता चलेगा आपके इंश्योरेंस में कवर्ड ही नहीं है. तो जितने पैसे आप वो 4-5 साल में बचाओगे, उतने आपके एक बार में निकल गए. So better to get that done and like be safe rather than
have that peace of mind, more importantly.
Exactly.
Because otherwise, if your panels had been spoiled, you were gone. It's a big expense coming up. Did you buy that insurance from MG? I'm just trying to see what is the odds that the same issue happened with somebody else. No. I know, same car, exact same issue where the guy said your engine is not covered under the insurance protect act, and so
I'm surprised. It's probably a coincidence. I mean, the MG guy does tell me that there are like 75-80 cars standing in his service center right now.
Because of that situation.
Because of this whole waterlogged situation. But no, I did not buy it from MG. I also again bought this from the same insurance.
Yeah.
And very good insurance, like Tata AIG.
Yeah.
This one is Tata AIG as well. Somehow I don't know why it was a slip from either my end or the insurance guy's end that we did not have the engine protect.
This is a
now
really
I
good
think
tip.
the renewal is coming up in September. I have made up my mind that there is
Engine
no
protect.
way I'm not taking engine protect.
Engine protect is for those living in cities which get flooded often. Please buy insurance with engine protect. I think that is one big takeaway for today's video. That was a good conversation. I wish I could have stretched the legs of this beast. So what I really liked is the heads-up display, which is quite nice. What I also really like is how light it feels to drive. By the virtue of it being such a big, heavy car, it still feels quite zippy and responsive for whenever I've been able to stretch it a little bit. Guys, tell us if you have any questions. If you have any experience on XCV90 of your own, please share it with us. With that, thank you. See you all in the next one. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. And thank you, Vivek.
And thank you. It's a pleasure, and looking forward to a lot of comments on the video.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
ये सब रिकॉर्ड नहीं, ये सब वीडियो में नहीं जाएगा. मैं मजे कर रहा हूँ गाड़ी के साथ थोड़ी. कहाँ देखो इसको, शरीर हंस रहा है. कहाँ जाओगे भैया? इसकी वॉल्यूम घुमा दिया ना उसने. शरीफ आदमी. One more try. आप मैनुअली खोल लो यार.